Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. That's Yang Fan. I'm Aaron. Together we are ZAPY Speaking. And tonight we are tackling ridiculousness versus seriousness by comparing Stephen Colbert and Norah O'Donnell. Tonight we're going to be challenging them to overcome the cod, see who's the fishier speaker. And of course, by fishier I mean better, because we're challenging their content, their organization, their delivery with the cod method of analysis. I look greatly forward to seeing who is going to be the better speaker, who's going to better get across the idea of hiding COVID-19 facts. Because those are the topics, the two videos we're watching. We're going to take a 30-second clip from each and see who is the more powerful speaker. Let's watch our first video.
Let's jump right into that. So first one up is Steve Colbert interview. Is CNN anchor O'Donnell. So let's see what she has to say here.
I think that any administration would want one of the most trusted men in America to be your spokesperson, to explain what's going on and what the administration is doing. We have been requesting Dr. Fauci since April, so for more than 3 months, more than a dozen times, and have been denied by the White House. In that time, Stephen, I looked it up today, their number of deaths have increased over 100,000.
So this O'Donnell is really serious news anchor. Let's move on to next. That's our Colbert. Let's see what kind of subtle difference he has when deliver similar piece of news here. Oh my God. Okay, so the data is not going to CDC and Dr. Fauci is nowhere to be found. Okay, what else can happen, Aaron?
First of all, that is an adorable baby.
Oh, man.
That's a great distraction from all the horrible stuff in the world.
I hope they don't imply the baby is Trump. No.
I'm not thinking of the implications. I think the baby was funny. Don't look too deep into what I said. No, ultimately, the key difference is the seriousness. And the question to me is always which is getting more information across and which is getting it across more effectively. It depends on the person, depends on the viewer, depends on a lot of things. I think it really shows the power of emotion here, because when we use that more serious, heavy emotion, I think that's actually more effective in short bursts of information, because when I get serious with you, you pay attention for a moment. But if I do this for too long, you start to get bored. Whereas that kind of lighter, sillier style is actually, I would say, more effective in a longer presentation. So if I'm going to present an hour's worth of information, I need you to enjoy it, otherwise you're going to stop focusing. So it's an interesting dynamic of the quality, like the style of delivery affects how much information gets across, but it changes, which is more effective over a period of time, I would argue.
Right, and I had to comment on the subtle language difference they use in terms of who they are, basically. So the CNN news anchor, she's a journalist. So she has to say the facts without speculation. Therefore, when we really listen in of the sentence and the words she string together, she's not saying Dr. Fauci is being whatever. She just say the fact. We try to contact him multiple times in this time period, but it's not made available. So these are the facts. People have different layer interpretation on top of that. So that is like reporting facts being as neutral as possible. Well, Colbert's reporting is very different. That's also because who he is. He's a late night host. He's like the end of the day, people come home, I want to listen to some jokes. So therefore, especially that video of the baby tilling the paper, that shows the essence of that type of delivery of using a joke, make a fun things to kind of kill the pain of people when they face this challenging time. So that in itself is a very different delivery content. It shows emotion, it shows some sort of opinion on top of fact. So that is a subtle difference here. I think that's why we put these two speakers together to a comparison. Yeah, so that's kind of my take on here. So I does everyone to go into this cold method evaluation, or you have something else to add on?
I think I'm ready to jump into the code. Shall I go first?
Sure, you go first. I did it in the last video. If you want to check out, it's in our channel.
All right. Nice. So in terms of the content, it's an interesting battle here. I would argue in this case, normally I prefer Stephen Colbert's content to the normal news style, but I think Norah O'Donnell's is better for a very simple reason. She has a sincerity to what she's saying because she's not, like, I don't disagree with Young Fun that she's delivering very objectively, but I think she's doing a great job of showing her frustration. Thousands of people have died. We've wanted to talk to this person. We want to hear from this most trusted man in America. But it's not happening. And that very real frustration takes the content. So it's almost a merging of content and delivery. And it takes the content to the next level. It takes the content to a level of sincerity and reality that I think is tough to match. So in this case, I'm actually going to give Norah O'Donnell, because of that sincere emotion, I'm going to give her an 8.5.
Okay.
I will give Stephen Colbert, just because his was much sillier and there wasn't as much of a message there. It was more about the joke. I'm going to give it a 6.5.
Okay.
In terms of the organization, that's a tough one here. I think they both do a good job with their organization. Their transitions are good. They lead into ideas nicely. I'm going to give them each a 7. I think it's just a fairly, it's solid. Nothing off the charts amazing, but it's solid. In terms of delivery, I come to a crossroads because I think the emotion from Norah O'Donnell is better, but I also think that Stephen Colbert's variety is much more interesting. So it's really hard for me to say who is the better speaker in terms of delivery. I'm gonna put, just because I like I say, that emotion, that sincerity really killed it for me. I'm gonna put Norah O'Donnell 8, Stephen Colbert 7.5.
Okay. So the points out for Aaron. So now it's my turn. I begin with the core method to recap content, organization, delivery. The content here are very, very different. First is the form, right? Norah has only words, but her words is really, really smart. She starts with, well, in this situation, any administration would want the expert to be on a spokesperson. So that's a great opening. It say a fact, but there's an emotion go underneath. So the layer is just beautiful. And she ended with a number, 100,000. And she emphasized on that number after she tried to reach out with Dr. Fauci for a couple of months. So that content is just amazing. I love it. I will give her 9. That's great. Which for Colbert, probably just 8. It's very simple. Most is video, a joke. I like the joke and the video make me laugh. The organization here, I would say the Norah has 3 pieces. A beginning, link into the expert, tell her story, try to contact Dr. Fauci, and the result. Beautiful organization, solid. In 30 seconds, you have a beginning, the development, and an ending of a result. In 30 seconds, I would say I give her a 9.5. That is great. Steve Colbert is a nice joke. I like organization of 2 pieces, right? It's a joke plus a funny video, simple to the point, get a job done, a solid 8 in that ground. Delivery. Norah is a news anchor, I understand that, but she's on a late night show interview. So maybe she can lose out a bit, or that's her choice of not to. I don't know which is which, but I would say this delivery part can be improved because it feels like it's a news interview for me. It can be more interesting, more powerful delivery here. So I will give Norah here like 7.5. It's not bad, but can be improved. Colbert here, there's not much delivery. Classic joke, classic him. Nice pick of video. So delivery get a job done, a solid 8. maybe what I get. So now we are ready for the final score. Do you want to guess who come out on the top?
It's actually tough.
Tough,
I think
right?
Norah O'Donnell did.
Yep. So Aaron made a great guess. Norah here, she totaled 8.25, Colbert 7.5. When it's come to breakdown, I gave Norah 8.7. Aaron gave her a 7.8, which to Colbert, Aaron gave him 7, I gave him 8. So then 7.5. So that's our results. At the end, interesting enough, we usually see a thought, an AI host is a better speaker, and joke make people laugh, we should like them. But some news anchor can do a really good job. Can you imagine 30 seconds with the beginning develop and an end message? That is solid.
Yeah, I think also it's just a testament to the situation, because you need to be very content aware when you choose your delivery method. If it's too silly, it loses its poignance, right? And of course, I think that, as I mentioned before, a bit of silly interspersed throughout can make something more interesting. But if it's all a joke, none of it's serious. So I think that in this case, especially with the clips we have here, the seriousness is more impactful. So I think that's part of why it comes to the fore. I will never, ever go on record saying that I think humor is not an effective and not an important part of speaking. I would argue it's one of the most forgotten. But in this case, one of these rare exceptions, I think it is an important example of one that there are a few times when humor is not the best option. So humor is always important.
Okay. So I guess to sum up the key message here for the viewer is we need to use humor, but be mindful of organization and delivery to match with the content. So do that, put some joke in there. So that will be the key simple message you can take home and put in your practice. Okay, so this is a wrap for this video. It's from ZAPY Speaking from two of us. Until we see you next time.
Stay fishing.